Greetings, everyone. Lisa here. If you go to sleep at night and you feel like you've done something, more than likely you have. We consider this that you work for the army of the Lord or you're working for the army of the bad guys. Either way, I'm speaking to you. These theorems are based on Dolores Cannon's work reading the Bible and my own personal experiences. Now, when I say the dream time, I'm talking about when you go through an awakening and you start meditating and doing things a little differently, and you get past the running of the thoughts through your meditative state and you get into that singular place of quietude and you start seeing things in your third eye, then you're beginning to operate in the dream time. Originally, the dream time is so that we go to sleep and our bodies repair. God gives us downloads and information, and He used to do that through dreams. And for a lot of people, maybe He still does. But some people, because of cell towers and cell phones and microwaves and airline travel and people using energy weapons and then people bombarding the ionosphere with electromagnetic energy, we're the dream time's very, very effective. Now, if you're in a relationship and you don't have any dreams anymore, you're related to an energy vampire and they're taking your dream time energy away. And they're doing a great disservice to you, your mental abilities, and your bodies. Just know this to be true. And you might look into the fact, is that spouse or roommate or whoever, are they involved in witchcraft or warlockery? Because a lot of times this has become a big thing. Um, you go into, I sell stuff on eBay, and the quickest things that sell are the occult items that I had garnered or my ex husband gave to me that I no longer wish to have. I don't consider myself a witch, okay? I fight against witchcraft and warlockery. And the pagans do take an oath where they say they should harm none. At least they should take that oath, but they don't follow through on it. Jesus was the last sacrifice that anybody was supposed to do. So to do ritual sacrifice is against the Word of God. Now, this is the 17th today. On a different moon calendar it said tomorrow is the new moon, and on Moon Giant it says the 19th is the new moon. But we have several days where ritualists will do ritualistic work at individuals or groups of people, and so this is a time where we should make sure we're shielded and protect ourselves, do extra prayer, do whatever is important to you to protect yourself. And for the next 3 days, 3 or 4 days. Okay, so I have a lot of information to give. When you get to the point when you do your resonance work and you can hear stuff, and if you do actually see things, when we reach this level, know that you are quantumly entangled with people, more people than you'd probably even be aware of. Now, when you start to see things, you need to report it. And I'm going to tell you how I report it and how they tell me I should share it with you. The other day, another actor and I saw, and the reason why I know that is because he said holy shit at the same time I said holy shit. We saw two guys block off a road with two giant trucks, orange trucks, and then there was a highway where cars were going, and these two guys were shooting people as they came down the road towards the trucks where they had blocked the road. They were just shooting people and cars. And if there was nobody coming down that road, they went off to the highway and just started randomly shooting at cars on the highway. So what you do when you see stuff like that is you report it. Now know that when you get to this higher elevation, you are being watched, okay? There's no way around it. So just get used to that. And when I say watch, not necessarily like CCTV cameras that you're in Trent's zoo. You're just part of a group of people who are working to try and make things right. You're watched by acronyms because they need to know if you're a superpower who's going to go bad or good. Okay? So you talk out and say, Michael told me it was in California, the number of the highway. And so I just say that, hey, there's two guys shooting cars in California, because you'll ask the angels, where's this happening at? And know that if you have your conversation with your angels and that they've touched you on the back or you feel them doing your wings, then you can start conversing with them. So when you see stuff like you see a woman drowning a baby in a bathtub, you report it. Ask, where's this happening at? Ohio, on Cambridge Lane. And they'll give you streets and addresses, okay? Now, sometimes you'll hear conversations. And if you hear a conversation to which you know the answer to somebody's talking, give them the answer. That happened to me not too long ago. They were talking about a house off of Schweitzer, which is where I used to live in Shawnee. And then it just came right to me which house they needed to know about, and I told them where it was. So don't feel stupid about talking out. And the reason why I'm saying this is because there's many people with many skills. And when we're quantumly entangled and we work on the side of light, there are many people working with us. Watch the movie Men Who Stare at Goats. In that movie, there are many, many truths in it, even though it's like, being presented as humor. There are people who can get into your walls and watch through your walls. Not that they're technically in your wall. They get and they hook up to their walls, and if they want to be in your wall, they'll ask to project in and see what's going on with you. Now they watch for a reason. A, if you report something, they can get it to the proper channels. Okay? B, if all of a sudden somebody breaks into your home and tries to kill you, they can report it and you're going to have an intervention. If you try to shoot yourself, you might have an intervention, okay, because your wall watchers are there. I have this in the screen today because we are in this moon cycle, and a lot of negative energy comes my way. Now, protect yourself, okay? Now, if you feel like somebody's in your wall that isn't good for you, talk to your angels about it and say, hey, get that person out. Don't be afraid to ask the angel. The more specific you are with your orders to the angels, the more they can do exactly what you need for them to do. And I want you to remember, angels are warriors. They're warriors first. I saw Michael do somebody in the other day, and it wasn't a pleasant thing to watch. So, when you close your eyes and you see things, report it. That's why you're doing this. This is God's way of working from the inside out. You have to remember, our planet is being destroyed. People who are in charge are not the good people right now. And then the good people who are in power are getting, like, look at what Donald Trump goes through. I mean, he's always being criticized. But you have to do things to change things. I mean, he's going against the current, and he has to. I can't believe you people really thought the Edgar suit was a good effing president. I'm just blown away by that. Now, the other thing is, even if you're a regular person who has a regular job and you're doing this, you might be absolutely surprised who you're quantumly entangled with. If you see your favorite actor, like if you close your eyes and you see somebody who's famous, and I saw a famous person today, he had on him something that looked like that. It was all on the back of him, strapped around his neck, strapped around his shoulders, strapped around his waist, and strapped around his groin. And it looked like something that was pieced together. It was very dark, it was brown, it was black, it was dark, deep blood red, and it almost felt like it was a something put together with people's skin or animal skin. It was like pieces of stuff put together. Well, I asked Spirit what that was, and I told so and so, hey, you have this thing on you. It was a covering, a spiritual covering on him that was placed on him through sex magic. And I want to talk a little bit about sex magic because it's the big thing that these guys do, these pagans do. Matter of fact, they're upstairs right now humming. They're humming magic. And I asked the angels to reverse whatever magic they send this way. Now, the object on him was so that 3 or 4 people could control him, could keep him from doing certain things, because they're only interested in him for his fame, what he could do for them, or scamming his money, or having sex with him. Okay? Now, this man was involved with a woman in a polyamorous relationship to which she kind of insisted he have other women because she was an energy vampire and drained the energy from him, especially after he had been with a woman. Okay? When you have sex like that with those kinds of people, that's how they put these attachments on you. So I want to say to any young girls out there who do sex to get through college and to keep your, if you have young children and keep your families going, go out there and make sure you're shielded, okay? And there's no judgment here from me. After all, Jesus Christ himself hung around with prostitutes. It's an age-old profession, as it were. I can't do it. I'm very, very dedicated to, it should only be one person. And so I kind of don't fit into this world in some ways because so many people think it's okay. Now, when you go to these places that teach you to get rid of your limiting beliefs, and they tell you there's no such thing as sin, well, there is sin, okay? And that's a satanic organization. No, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. When they tell you there's no such thing as sin, that's a satanic thing. And there are a lot of organizations who teach that. Now, when you're a young person and say you don't have the best home life, your parents treat you like shit, and your siblings are assholes, and you have no love in your life, you tend to fill that hole with drugs and alcohol and stuff like that, and that's the perfect opening for you to get involved in relationships that are based on witchcraft and warlockery, where they will keep you repressed and down. That's part of my story. And you don't want to be controlled by a device like that that's put on you through sexual activities. And it can even happen to you from a husband or a boyfriend that you think you can trust. So be mindful. Be mindful of sex and drugs. It's a dangerous place to play. Once you get to a certain point, and like I said, there's no judgment here. I still smoke weed, and I will sometimes drink and get a little bit happy. But always know that you can do that and don't drive and be safe. Know that you're with people that you can trust. Okay, so I gave the sex warning, the moon, the sound, and the sight. We go through our sonic resonancing and sound. Now, the other part of this is there are so many people involved in this, big name people, musicians in particular, who can send our messages. So, like if you're talking here and you say, "Oh my God, I just saw a woman kill a baby in the bathtub," blah, 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 where it is, the angels say this is that. There are people who do nothing but filter for sound, and they'll get that message out to you. They're very, um, basically, they're people who work in the music industry. Trent Reznor was one of them, and he still can manipulate sound. Unfortunately, he went to the dark side, and the Federation and Spirit is trying to alleviate his ability to uh, do and get in. And so it's off of my charts on how to block him. But you will discern there are, and when you do quantumly entangle with people and you start to talk to them, know that out there in 5D space, if there's people who want to subvert you from talking to somebody, they will pretend to be those people. Okay, that's a big no-no in the universe. And so eventually they will get caught. Eventually they will be, justice will come to them, because in this real world they probably are doing bad things that they'll get caught up for. Okay? But there are people dedicated to sound who will channel messages to you through the spaces in between. Now let me explain what that sounds like. So I have baseboard heaters where water flows through a copper pipe, and it's surrounded by aluminum squares all the way down the line of it. As that water flows and I hear the clickety and clacking of the aluminum, they're able to send me a conversation that they think I should hear. And today I got to hear Elon Musk being spoken to by both his lawyer and some authority. And so they were questioning him about things. So I didn't hear the complete story, but he told some story, and they said to him, "Sir, what you just said to me is completely insane, because we have been watching Lisa for X amount of years, and that woman has never done any of the things you just said." And then there was quiet for a minute, and he continued to talk and blah blah blah, and it went on. The conversation went on for a little bit longer, and then finally the guy said, there was some conversation about from the lawyer about what he should do, and then there was a little bit more conversation, and the law enforcement agent said, "Sir, I think you're doing a little bit too much cocaine." And I started laughing, and then he starts shooting my vagina with that Cool Ray Luke thing. And I spoke out. I spoke out because if the message is coming in and you can hear it, you can speak out and they will hear you. Okay, that's what these musical people do for us. Now, I can mention the names on who does that, but I'd rather keep it private for them. Um, so I said, "Hey, Mr. Law Enforcement guy, just so you know, Elon Musk is shooting his Cool Ray Luke handgun at my vagina. Could you please take that away from him?" And in a few moments, it stopped. Now, the conversation's over. I haven't heard anything more of it. But know that we're working in spirit. Technically, the dream time, once again, is supposed to be like we go to sleep at night, we have our dreams, and we wake up and we give in our programming, as it were. Our body's healed, they shift and things around and stuff, and you wake up and you think it's just a dream. But because of all the energy displacement, it's having to be done a different way. Nothing stays the same, okay? Things things have to change. Pages need to turn, especially if we want to heal the planet. And that's what a lot of us are here for. Our basic goal is to help heal this planet. And sometimes it means taking people down and out of their positions of power in order for change to be effected. So that was that. So if you see crime, report it. Report what you see. It's important. And know that even though you're speaking to your walls, it'll get out there, okay? And I talked about people who work with sound. Oh, the other thing, this happened the other night, and this might happen to a bunch of you as we progress through this new moon period. So I know the person who does this. It's like I close my eyes at night and all I see is this like thing that's black at me. Like if you see something approaching you in the third eye that's black and red and not very pleasant to look at, destroy it. Burst your energy at it, tell it be gone. However, whatever your technique is, use it, get rid of it. When you see those eyes come up to you really close, burst energy at it. The blonde from Canada did that, and then the black thing was somebody else, and no, that's wrong. They're trying to control you with their eyes, and it's just so stupid. I've been out here trying to tell them, don't ever put your eye up close and personal into somebody's third eye like that, because that gives me or you the power to harm them significantly. Okay? It's so stupid. I come out here and try to tell them, I know some of you guys are learning things, but they just do the same thing over and over again. And this is they've tried to end me spiritually the same sort of way over and over and over again. I keep saying, you do realize, right, when you do the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, that's a form of insanity. I don't know that some of them get that. Anyway, that's that. And the other thing I want to talk about, they want me to bring this up. It's a little embarrassing, but when I was on Mystic Traveler 3411 and I started doing this, and my first awakening was I found out that I was connected to the Lord Oberon. I was his mate. And boy, that started a whole spur of things, and people went crazy, and I had to deal with stuff I didn't understand what was going on, because people still venerate Oberon, or these people in these covens take the names of old pagan lords and ladies, and so there was several people who thought they were Oberon and thought I was claiming to be their mate. No, I was the original Oberon's mate. And what happened with that, and some of you actually do work with the Fae, and maybe you were affected by Oberon. I have broken that contact. It's been over 2 years now. We had a big battle. I had to break the chains of that, and I literally obliterated whatever past life connection I had with that entity, which I heard my daughter tell me. My second ex said that day that it happened, he said he was free. He felt like he had been freed from something. Yet it didn't stop him from doing bad things. But Oberon he was abducted and then released, because I came out and said Lord Oberon had been abducted, and a clever person released him, and then, which proved to that person that I really was his mate. He had a second mate because his original woman wasn't killed. She was taken prisoner by a circumstance of war. And so he mated with a human. And so this other woman thought she was his mate. And it got stupid from there. But anyway, I broke the contract and the bond. And then a person from a coven actually got involved with the spirit of him and perverted him. And so he's actually not here anymore. He's been taken off to a far distant place in space because of the woman who perverted him. And he was put in a horse for a while. He was in the horse named Chester. But Chester did something bad with him in it. Chester wasn't put down, but once Oberon was taken out of that horse and put far away in space, and he is he like in jail or anything? No, he's just being kept away from here because of this one specific woman, and she beguiled him. So the gods are like people, the pagan gods who are up in space. They still watch over us, and you can talk to them. So if the other woman who is related to his original human wife, if you wonder why he doesn't respond anymore, he's not around. He's been ostracized by the Federation community because of participating in some really bad actions towards the Federation. So he's not like in jail, but he's just been put in a far distant place. So that's all I have to say today. The moon warning. If you see crime, report it. That's why you're learning these skills. There are people who work with sound, so you don't have to get on the telephone and say anything. You just talk out to your space here. And believe it or not, this space is pretty effing full if you knew about it. Know that if you're a regular person and you see your favorite actor in trouble or have something put on them, the technical way to do it is to say doorbell to, and say the actor's name, and say, gee, you don't know me, but my name is yada yada. I saw this on you, and I just wanted you to know because I'm a fan. Just tell them. It's important for them to know because actors and actresses do a lot more than just show up on your screen. A lot of them do. Anyway, that's all I have to say right now. Remember, a lot of you are freaking amazing, and I love just about all of you. Bye now. Have a good rest of your week.